Hello and welcome to Beacon Space's or Unrestricted Lorefare's Beacon Space. Wow, let's just flip up the setting name and the you know Discord group name and put it in the inverse order. That's a great start to stream. However, welcome everyone. I am your host as always, Xavier here, and we'll get ready to have a fantastic stream today. Actually, why is my name floating awkwardly above my head? Wonder if it's from the, I updated OBS, so, who knows if that caused problems. It probably did. Something's probably broken and I just don't know it. So it looks like I keep peeking on my microphone. Let's try to fix that. Alright. There we go, that looks better now. It's just on top of my head, where it should be. With that out of the way, though, welcome everyone to Beacon Space and the Faction Turn 23. Can you imagine? It's almost been 2 years of these. Next month will be Faction Turn 24, which is pretty exciting, all things considered. You're looking at our map visualization here on screen, zoomed in way on into the planet of Tellus in the 0909 Center system, which is currently a planet controlled by the Children of the Vein, but is also a focal point within our sector at large. I think, though, we can get ready to begin today's faction turn. I don't particularly think I have many pre-stream announcements. Let me just double check my notes. I guess the only potentially relevant pre-stream announcement is I did want to clarify for an exchange that happened at the lore stream. What was that, last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. The Torah Faiz announcement regarding the voice from the temple that spoke with them from the ruin around the planet of Langan in the Kuafu system. I have clarified some verbiage in that was written from the in-character perspective to them to a mechanical implementation. They have been told they are allowed to give me a lore question once a month for the faction turn stream, and I will endeavor to get an answer to them back fast enough that they could potentially produce something about it for the lore stream if they want, or turn it into a wiki article or whatnot. And I just wanted to make people aware of that in a concise way. I'll probably put up some message in the normal, stream or your faction turn updates where things get announced. I'll probably put some clarification there just so people know. It occurred to me after the fact that I did not clarify with them whether or not the questions they asked would be made public at this lore stream. So for this one, at least, we will not be doing so without first checking in with them. So you won't know exactly what they have asked at this point, but hopefully, if they're interested in sharing, they will do so at the lore stream. And maybe that's the best way to have this work, since it is a lore-related element rather than a true mechanical one. But figured that this is a good enough as time as any to explain how that's working, and it all opens up the possibility that this may be a potential thing for future ruins as well. That said, I guess there is one other pre-stream thing we should chat about, which is that there's been an update to the way the spreadsheet looks. If you've seen this change and announcement in the Discord, it's already news to you, but I have updated the way this display looks so that it is now 2 stacked rows for the stream view, rather than one really long row that is impossible for me to fit on the stream. Hopefully this should be more legible. Somebody should let me know if it's not. I know that at least for this view, going up to 150% zoom fills the actual stream better, but then on the page, if we're at 150 and we're on the asset tracker, this page is just giant to me, and so we're still figuring out exactly what size all of these things should look at. So hopefully you can give me some feedback throughout the stream today as to if everything is still hopefully legible for you. That said, though, I didn't create 3 new columns for stream today, so let's do that now. Add some borders, and then add turn 22.5 trades, turn 23 order, and turn 23, and then let's go ahead and get started. So first up today is, conveniently hanging out at the top of this list, is Ascent with turn order 1. Let's shrink this column. Does not need to be that big, nor does that one. So, Ascent starts us off here first. Actually, excuse me. No, I'm incorrect. I'm not scrolled all the way up on my notes document. Ascent is second, but so I'll go ahead and put that in. But it is actually the Concord of Mutual Disdain in first today, who have been very excited to have received such a high turn order. So first things first, they're going to be leveling up one of their stats. They are going to be spending the required experience points to level up from Force 5 to Force 6. So if we go check the XP tables calculation here, down on the bottom, we can see that leveling up to 6 requires 12 experience points. The Concord of Mutual Disdain have exactly that amount, so 12 experience later takes them down to 0, and that gives them Force 6. Congratulations to them. It does change their maximum HP, and hopefully the BOI has updated appropriately. Somebody should remind me to double check that in case it does not, but they will also then receive their income of 6 faction credits. It does not look like upping their Force to 6 changed their stat income. That will take care of their XP expenditure, so let's now continue on with the rest of their turn, giving them their income of 6, as previously mentioned, taking them up to 21, and then they're going to be taking the Expand Influence action this turn. They're going to be expanding influence on the planet BL, which we can go find over here, which is right down here in the 1412 system. They're the only one present, so this expansion is entirely uncontested. It will cost them the standard requisite 1 faction credit for 1 HP. Let's go ahead and add this below, and we can get rid of Purchase Sickness on their asset from the Distorted Lens they received last turn. So, Base of Influence acquired in A for the cost, but actually we should just be able to do that and continue to drag in and fill down all of our things. So this is on Planet BL, as was mentioned. And there we go. So that adds their base of influence. That's going to cost them 1 faction credit. We will go charge them that in 1 moment, as we'll add up the additional charges for their movements. So they're going to be doing a few other things. They have some strike fleets to relocate. So the strike fleet that is currently on 171717 in space is traveling to Planet BU. The strike fleet currently in the 1418 system on the planet of CF is traveling to, or one of these two. I don't think it matters which one. I think they are both at, oh, they didn't specify which of these two should move. Huh, I did not catch this. Well, Daddy Yum Yum, if you're around, you can message me. Actually, wait, is this a base of influence and I'm reading it wrong? It is. This is a base of influence. Wow, columns are hard to read. Okay, so this is the strike fleet to move. That was minorly embarrassing for turn 1, but it's fine. And then this will move to the planet BI in the 1517 system. And the last movement is the spaceship here It's the strike fleet on planet BL. Right. It's written down as a strike fleet in my notes, but I think it's actually a smuggler's asset. Let me double check what was sent to me. This is very likely just a transcription mistake, but I believe smugglers can also still move themselves, so this should still be fine. Yes, they can. Same movement assets as same movement rules for that. Okay, great. So we will move that to Planet AL. All of those movements taken care of. Those will each cost 1 faction credit. So let's go make that charge of 4 total cost to Concord and Mutual Disdain, taking them down to 17. They're then going to create a constellation. They're going to create a constellation called the Zoanthi chain, and apparently this is a reminder that I should be following up with the Agumala Syndicate for the name of their constellation. This is controlled by the Concord and Mutual Disdain, and maybe in the interest of time I shouldn't type in all of these numbers right now, but that's alright. We will build them a pretty large constellation that they have completed the requisite requirements for. They have to have assets in places where there are planets in the hexes, and they can only claim as many empty spaces as they have planets. I've previously checked the requirements, pretty sure everything worked out. It's a large enough area of space that I am not going to go through it on stream because I don't want to take the large amount of time that it would take to do so. They are, however, this is however large enough that I need to add more columns. They have a very large constellation that they are establishing. I wish Tab would just add a new column. 18, 16, 17. Oh, that's right. They do have a visualization they made previously. I will probably confirm with them and share that in the Discord rather than trying to share it on stream, given that I don't have an easy way, I don't think, to share it on stream. And live editing OBS things sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I'll probably get their permission to share it in the Discord afterwards so people can double check the math as well. Anyway, let me go see if this formula over here needs to be fixed. I suspect it does. Yes. So the last letter is now Y. Everywhere that this says R needs to say Y. Why, I don't know. There we go. Perfect. Looks good to me. That's a giant swath of space for them that they've established a constellation for. Great. That wraps up the Concord of Mutual Disdain's turn, coming in first this faction turn, as they were very excited about. Next, we'll move on to the faction of Ascent, who will gain 6 income. Excuse me, taking them up to a balance of 71, not 61. They'll then be taking the buy asset action to purchase a smugglers. They were second, this is why they were on my mind, but they were not first this turn, as much as they always appreciate being first, being the speedy faction of Ascent they are. They will be purchasing a seditionist asset on Tellus, and I did double check with the Children of Mutual Disdain. I remember to do so before remembering this on stream. It was pretty exciting. And the Children of Mutual Disdain have granted the purchase permission. So, 12 faction credits spent on the seditionist and 2 faction credits spent on moving some smugglers, along with a different seditionist asset, to a point of interest out in the 0400 system. That is the 14. That is the 14 faction credits Ascent is spending this turn. That takes their balance down to a total of 57. That math looks correct. Great. That wraps up Ascent's turn, coming in second this faction turn, and we will move right along to Larkspur Combine, who have, likewise to Conquer Their Mutual Disdain, decided to spend 12 of their experience. So they are going to spend the 12 to take their Force stat also up to a 6, increasing their maximum HP. It does not affect their income, so they will still only receive 6 faction credits, taking them up to a balance of 31 before they, likewise, to Ascent, take a buy asset action. Let's go paste that in over here. So Larkspur Combine is third. They are, of course, taking the inside enemy territory goal, as is a tradition of theirs, but that shouldn't be a surprise to most people. They are purchasing an asset I'm not sure we've seen before be purchased or acquired, so let's go over what that asset is as we add it in to the map. So it'll come in with the stealth option, giving that they are a secretive faction. But they are purchasing a planetary defenses asset, which I believe is maybe the first time we've seen this asset be purchased. I don't actually remember. They are purchasing this asset on Moss, which is their homeworld. It is secretive, so the planetary defenses asset costs them 18 faction credits. It's a force asset with 20 HP, and it is a facility. It has no attack, but it does do a nice counterattack of 2d6 plus 6. And I believe it also has some interesting notes about it. Am I correct? Let's double check. This is planetary defenses. Yeah. They can only defend against starship type assets. So that was the other qualification. Great. Let's go charge the... let's actually do the movements and then do all of the charges at once. So right now they have a cost of 18 faction credits to take care of, but then they're going to be moving 4 strike fleets. So the strike fleet on... both strike fleets on Mankara Niti are moving themselves over to Idarast. The strike fleet that was previously on Idarast is moving to Mankara Niti. And the strike fleet on Icaros is moving from there to Heliocytus. That is giving them the completion of inside enemy territory, gains them their 2 experience points, as well as needing to charge them the appropriate money. So let's give them their 2 XP, and then let's charge them appropriately. So they have a 31, they spent a total of 22, 18 for the planetary defenses, 4 for movements, bring them down to a total of 9 faction credits. Pretty nice. We'll move right along to the 4th faction this turn then, coming on up on what may be our most exciting turn for this faction turn. We're going to be coming on into the Assembled Commonwealth, who are going to receive an income of 6 faction credits, taking them up to a total of 22. And then they are going to be setting the goal of Blood the Enemy. Which, there we go. So, Blood the Enemy's goal, we already have one established here, currently being held by the Alghamal Syndicate, is the summation of your stat line, if I'm got that correct. So that means that Assembled Commonwealth needs to have a total of 15 damage dealt, unlike Alghamal Syndicate, which only needed a total of 11. Oops, let's apply centering to all of those columns, thanks. So, let's see why they may be doing so. Will probably be explained when we get to their turn action today of seizing a planet. Right, so they need a total of 15 there. So this is a rather complicated set of instructions, it also includes the defensive request from the Children of the Vein that is relevant in here. But let's go through these one step at a time. So first up on their turn, they're going to be using their new asset, the Anchorage Station, which is currently located on Mankaraniti, to move itself and all other assets on Mankaraniti, as it is allowed to carry assets. So that'll be 2 commodities brokers, 2 covert shippings, 2 extended theaters, and 1 post-tech infantry over to Malacca. There's a, albeit relatively complicated formula for determining how much this cost. It is 1 faction credit for moving the Anchorage Station itself, plus the number of assets moved divided by 2 rounded up, or the ceiling operator, which will result in this movement action taking 5 faction credits. You can double check the details for the Anchorage Station if you would like on your own time on the asset details page. The formula is listed right in the center of this. Great. So that takes care of a movement of theirs. Let's go handle that because that's a complicated movement. So assembled Commonwealth, everything currently on Mankaraniti. So that's this, this. And I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Anchorage Station, 8. Okay, all of these things are moving to Malacca. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So that movement is totally valid for this. Unfortunately, the Anchorage Station does not show up currently on the map. That's a small visualization issue. But Mankaraniti is right here, and Malacca is 2 hexes away over here, so a perfectly valid transit destination. Hopefully sometime within the next month, by the way, the Anchorage Station asset should be visible on the map. It'll probably be after the downtime that I'll make an announcement about at the end of the stream. But there's the first step of their turn complete. The second step is to use 2 of the covert shippings now located on Malacca to remove both of the commodities brokers listed on Idarast onto Heliocytus. This movement we can't quite see over here, but if these covert shipping assets are right here on Malacca, you would be able to see a range of 2 hexes would cover, a range of 3 hexes would cover both Idarast, which is 2 hexes away from Malacca, and Heliocytus. Unfortunately, downside to moving assets around during the stream means the map doesn't easily update live. So both of those movements are valid. Let's take these 2 commodities brokers currently located on Idarast and move them to Heliocytus, which is the homeworld of the Children of the Vein. And Heliocytus, got it. Those have now arrived. And now, unrelated to the current movements that have taken place, way over here in the 1214 system, quite far away from center, this bank asset is seizing planet AE. Congratulations, it's unopposed. There's nobody else here. The seize goes off perfectly fine. So, let's start a tracker for that seize, because it would be a problem if I forgot. So, seize planet. This is planet AE, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it at 1 out of 3 so that I don't forget later. And then as part of the seize action, as it does count as an attack action, the assembled Commonwealth will be taking the attack action on Heliocytus with the 2 commodities brokers that have just arrived. So these are wealth versus wealth attacks with an attack die of 2d8. And because of Imperialist for Assembled Commonwealth, they have advantage on the attack roll. The Children of the Vein have provided me defensive instructions. They're in the faction turn list that has been posted there. The important things to note here is that the Children of the Vein rerolls 1s, and the current resolution of their faction tags has them winning ties in combat as a result of the Gene Rot Might interfacing with Fanatical. The blocking instructions are to first block with a commodities broker of Children of the Vane's own, and given that this is taking place on their homeworld, the standard, if the assets would take lethal damage, the BOI should soak instead, and if that would mean the BOI would die, the asset should instead take the damage, has been appropriately provided. So let's go roll out these attacks. I guess just since it's worth noting, counter attack of commodities brokers is 1d8. So, over to roll 20. This is the attack die for the Assembled Commonwealth. I've already done the formulas in advance just to make my life easier. So this is 2d6 keeping the, or 2d10, excuse me, keeping the higher of the two dice, adding 6 for the wealth asset of the Assembled Commonwealth. I believe they both have wealth 6. Let's just double check that before I go with this. Wealth 6 for here, and wealth 6 for Children of the Vane. Perfect. So let's get the attack dice is a total of a 13. So now we'll roll the defensive die for the Children of the Vane, re-rolling ones once due to the fanatical tag and adding a +6 to there. They've also rolled a 13, which is quite unfortunate, as they win the tie. So this is a successful defense for, well, unfortunate for the Assembled Commonwealth, very fortunate for the new tag of theirs. So that will mean there's counter-attack damage of 1d8 here, dealing a maximum of 8 damage in response to the first attacking commodities broker, which I'm just going to go down the list and say this one attacked first, since I wasn't told. So that one is now down to 2 damage. Let's go record the roll results. Let's add it here. First attack. 13v13. CTV wins. Counter 8. And then here's the second attack. Let's go roll that out now. Same rolls as before. We'll start with the attack roll, which is a 10, and the defensive roll, which is a 10. Counterattack succeeds again for only 6 damage this time. That's quite unfortunate luck for the Assembled Commonwealth, running into the interaction of ties. Was only 6 damage this time? Yeah, D8 rolled 6 damage. So let's go apply that to the other commodities broker that is on Heliositis right here, which is now down to 4 HP. Unfortunately, the Assembled Commonwealth dealt 0 damage, so there was no progress made on their Blood the Enemy goal, so they did not complete that. That wraps up their turn, and we will move right along to whoever's next. I need to check my notes. Tahora Faye is coming up 5th this faction turn. Well, they are now up. They are going to be taking a very relaxing turn after the one we just had, taking the Wealth of Worlds goal and gaining themselves 8 faction credits in the process, which they will then be using to repair a few assets. So, Wealth of Worlds requires them to spend some money, but let's go first give them their income. So the Tahora Faye's income of 8 brings them up to a total balance of 33 faction credits from their previous 25. First off, they're going to try to lure the whale by rolling a d10 plus 4 versus a d10 plus 4 roll. So this will be starting off for Tahora Faye's roll, which is a 6, and the whale has rolled a 7 in its continuing persistence to not be bothered by anyone in the sector. I believe somehow I have managed to design an enemy of both the Agumala Syndicate and the Tahora Faye, neither of which can manage to interface with, because the whale just has taken the GM ability of always rolling the correct dice. So, That's unfortunate for luring the whale. In the meantime, though, there are a few asset movements to take care of. So let's go do those first. So Tahora Faiz assets, they have a strike fleet that is currently in the 0611 region. Right here, the Black Gorb, which is moving to 0609 Dine, which will cost 1 faction credit. There is a strike fleet in the Varengi Vipers, which is currently in the 1012 Hex, that is going to take advantage of Telus's special movement rules to treat it as a valid destination and move to Telus. This would trigger Tahora Fai's BOI, but it's their faction, so they don't pay their own arrival tax. And then they are going to be repairing a few of these assets. So the first one is the Black Orb, currently at 1 out of 8 HP, is going to take the repair action twice, costing a total of 3 faction credits and gaining what would be up to plus 10 HP, but instead will just return to its maximum of 8. The Varengi Vipers, currently located now on Telus, will take the repair action once for an individual cost of 3 faction credits, taking them up to their full HP of 8. And then finally, the strike fleet in 0009 of Tahora Faiz, which is apparently unnamed, and I'm only seeing the base of influence that's there. Did I move a wrong asset? No, here it is. Okay. Which apparently now has a name, the Waka Horura. I have almost certainly mispronounced that. Horura? Horora? I don't know. Somebody get me a pronunciation guide, and I will attempt to pronounce it correctly. We'll also take the repair action, this time costing 4 faction credits, to repair itself up to full, as repair actions cost an increasing 1 faction credit each time you repair an asset. So, in total then, we have seen them cost 12 faction credits worth of repairs, 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Or, excuse me, it is 10 faction credits on repairs. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10. So that will be 10 faction credits spent there. 2 faction credits for moving strike fleets, so we're up to 12 faction credit cost right there. And then the Wealth of Worlds goal would require them to currently spend 12 faction credits, so they are going to do that, spending a grand total of 24 faction credits, leaving them with 9 remaining. That will, however, grant them their experience points, which is 2 XP for completing Wealth of Worlds, if I recall correctly. Let's double check. The goal, Wealth of Worlds, should provide 2 XP. Yep, it does. I'm going to do that right now, just so that I don't forget. They now have 11 XP. Finally, they are going to revise the charts, trying to improve the biosphere of Sarinin to Engineered. So this is a difficulty 14 roll, where they are rolling a d10 plus 6 from their constellation bonus. RD10 plus 6. They have only rolled an 8, unfortunately, so that is a failure for this conversion, which is unfortunate for them. Result, 8, failure. And complete goal plus 2 XP. That wraps up the Tahora Faiz turn. Congratulations to them for their repair and refit. I wonder where all that money went, though. We'll have to find some interesting thing. Maybe it went to reinvesting in the temple, and should play off of that at the upcoming lore stream. That would be a reasonable place to say that a bunch of money has been spent restoring a ruin. That would be an interesting one indeed. That said, let's keep moving right along to who's next in today's faction turn. That brings us to the Starlit Court, to our 6th. And they will be taking the Expand Influence action, and how about we do so after giving them their income. So they're going to be expanding on the 1500 hex way up at the top here onto planet BY. It's unopposed, they're the only one there. Congratulations to them. Let's go give them that base of influence on the 1500 system. Insert a row below here. The Starlit Court gets a base of influence. Apparently had a few other rows that weren't fully correctly accounted for. That should be fine, and this is on the 1500 BY planet. Okay, so that will cost them 1 faction credit. I need to give them their income though, so in total they will end up at 24 faction credits. As a result of that, they've completed their goals, so Starlit Court is now at a grand total of 10 experience. Up next in today's faction turn is the Agumala Syndicate, rating in number 7th. They're going to be taking the buy asset action, as well as doing some cursory movement around the sector. They're going to be moving 2 strike fleets from Nueva Cuauhtémoc to the 1010 Empty Hex, costing them 2 faction credits in total for those 2 movements, as well as buying a new strike fleet on Nueva Cuauhtémoc. Let's take care of that for them. Let's remove Purchase Sickness off that previous one, and give them another strike fleet. Congratulations on their purchase. And this is now on Nueva Cuauhtémoc. These 2 over here are moving into 1010, which is a space hex that I will need to create. Let's appropriately tag this new one with Purchase Sickness. Which reminds me, I don't think I did that for here. And I don't think I did that for Ascent's Seditionist. Did I actually purchase Ascent's Seditionist? Did somebody? I know I said it, but now that I'm marking things, did somebody actually see me add it to the spreadsheet? I'll give chat a moment to respond to me while I go complete Agumala Syndicate's turn. So, that will see for Agumala Syndicate, that was 12 on the strike fleet, 14 in total after we count for the moves. I need to give them their income, so they would go up to 43, and then this would cost them 12, bringing them down to 31. They don't have a relevant goal, so that takes care of that. Okay. Let's backtrack for the moment, since we've just paused on the Syndicate's turn. They had this moved to the point of influence. I don't see another Seditionist for Ascent, so I think I just verbally said it, but never added it to the sheet. So, which is probably a result of me mentioning that they were purchasing this on Tellus and needed permission from Children of the Vein and had received it, but then I proceeded to not actually give them the asset. That has been fixed. Ascent, you have your asset. Okay. I did charge them for it, though, because they were up at, like, some obscene balance beforehand, so somebody should double-check that math for me and make sure that I did charge them for it, but I'm pretty sure I did. Okay. Cool. So that means I can return back to who's up next, which is the Children of the Vein, coming in 8th this faction turn. They're going to be taking the Exploration action. But first, let's go give them their 9 faction credits. So Children of the Vein's 9 income takes them to a balance of 18. They are then going to perform some movements. So they have a strike fleet that is currently in the 0605 hex and is moving to 0503's point of interest. That costs them a total of 2 faction credits. They're then going to be exploring this point of interest, which has a roll target of 14, but a bonus of +6 from them. So this is the 0503 way over here. The nearest planets are either in 0805 or up here in 0701 or 0500, but they're all 3 hexes away. regardless of which of those you choose. So yes, a difficulty 14 roll here. So D10 plus 6. They actually get to reroll that one. Only rerolls into an 11 though, so still a failure. So they will be taking a D4's worth of damage to succeed this roll, taking a maximum damage, unfortunately, against their strike fleet of 4 damage. So that strike fleet that just moved is now at half health. But they have successfully revealed some planets here. So let's see how many they've revealed by rolling a D6. A 6 is 3 planets. Pretty exciting for them. So I will move these over to the spreadsheet and then show them all off on stream in just a moment, because that makes my life significantly easier. So this was in the 0503 hex. I'm going to need 2 more rows below, thank you. And these are going to come down. I don't know if I have a planet CO. Oh, planet CP is up next. So, first off then is planet CP, which comes around with the mechanics tag of cunning assets built in this world cost 1 less, with a population of tens of millions of people finding themselves living at TL2 level of technology. It is a corrosive atmosphere with a warm temperature and a remnant biosphere. It has the tags of Exchange Consulate, which interesting choice for the setting, and Pre-Tech Cultist. Pretty interesting. Ruin's roll of a 15 does not reveal a ruin, unfortunately, though. Up next on the second planet in the system, planet CQ, CR. So planet CQ's cunning assets owned by the planetary government controller deal 1 additional damage on successful attacks or counterattacks. This planet is, however, uncolonized, but has relevant technology lingering of equivalent to TL1. It has a breathable mixed atmosphere that is variable cold and has a missable biosphere, along with the tags of Megacorps in this uncolonized world and Doomed World. Perhaps it was the Megacorps that were in fact doomed to leave it uncolonized. Interesting discovery indeed. There's 2 other things that need to be dragged down, isn't there? Okay. And the final planet of planet CR... Oh, a ruins roll of 4 for planet CQ will not reveal a ruin. And the final planet here, planet CR, has the planetary government controller wins ties on attacks and defensive rolls on this planet. It has a population of billions of people finding themselves living in TL1, where there is an airless or thin atmosphere with a temperate temperature and a microbial biosphere, along with the tags of societal despair and cyber-communist. Interesting choice for this planet. A ruins roll of 14 does not reveal a ruin, unfortunately. There are the remaining 2 planets that were rolled up, shared on the side of your screen now. Alright, that takes care of the exploration portion of their turn, so we can move right along to the next action on their turn, which is healing the bank on Tellus for +1 HP. So that goes up to a 6 using a Tellus special action. They're then going to move a strike fleet that is currently located on Tellus to Heliocytus, costing them 1 faction credit and taking advantage of Tellus's extended movement rules. So there's a strike fleet currently located on Tellus. it's right here, Legacy of the Worms. This one is now up on Heliocytus. That cost 1 faction credit to move. Finally, the planetary seizure advances. Okay, so charges to the Children of the Veins 18 balance, 2 for the movement into the POI, and then 1 for the movement to Heliocytus, and excuse me, they actually have 1 other movement activating an extended theater asset, so that is a total of 4, taking them down to 14. Let's go move that final asset of theirs. They're activating an extended theater on Moss to move marketers on Tellus to Moss. So, marketers on Tellus have moved to Moss. Perfect. Planetary seizure advances of planet BA, it is now at 2 out of 3. And that completes their goal for exploration, taking them up to 5 XP. Last of the player-controlled factions, the Amelhart Institute, coming in at 9th for a second turn in a row, is also taking a seize planet action this turn, seizing the planet of CO in the 0215 system. So, way over here, but way down here, they are seizing this planet. So, they're unopposed as they are the only ones there, so congratulations to them. Let's add a tracker onto Amelhart Institute's seize planet CO. 1 out of 3, and they did go ahead and set the seize. Did the data validation break? Odd that that's not working correctly. There we go. I will figure out the problem with the data validation later. Not important. They've set the seize planet goal. Let's give them their income before I forget to do so, taking them up to 66 faction credits. Which wraps up the seize portion of their turn. They do have a planet name request, so they have a planet of theirs, planet AK, that is controlled by them that needs to be renamed. So they have decided to rename the system to Aidia, something like that, and the planet name has become Morrow. So congratulations to them. Do they have any assets on that world? Amelhart Institute's up at the top here. They did, so this is now on Morrow. Perfect. That takes care of the remainder of Amelhart's turn, leaving us, last but not least, with the White Whale, who, being undisturbed this turn, gets to roll a d10 to decide if he's going to take the gain, stealth, or heal at random actions. Let's figure out which of the two he's going to choose. Actually, I'm just going to copy and paste that one, and we will roll a d10 to find out. He has rolled an 8, which is the heal option. Oh, it's the same as last time. That's hilarious. So he heals 1d3 minus 1 for a total of 2 HP healed. Is that the same as last time as well? It is. Oh, that's freaky. This whale's good. But 2 HP to go grant to the whale, taking him up to a total of 14 out of his maximum 20 HP. That, I think, wraps up the White Whale. That's all the faction turns I have. Does anybody notice anything that I did wrong that we should fix while we're here? I'm gonna go I'm pretty sure... Is 1012 in use? While I give people a second to see if they've got any concerns, I'm gonna... Is 06... I'm gonna try to fix up the map here. Nope, 0605 doesn't have anything. So 1010 going here is fine. Do all of the planets have their appropriate expansion? Nope, there's a planet missing. Perfect, okay. The whale already knows he's stealth and only wants to play optimally. That, you know, I would believe it at this point. This whale has been ending up taking fairly optimal decisions overall over the course of its turns. Cool. I think that wraps up everything related to faction turns then. I don't have any other notes, so unless I've forgotten something, that looks like all of it. With that said, let's. There is at least one important announcement to go over that included a tag for faction representatives and faction assistants in the FT Updates channel. There is an expected downtime for the map interface within the next month. So starting a week from today, or if not, maybe even a little bit earlier, the map will be down. I would, for those of you interested in having screenshots of it for planning purposes, if you're going to be planning over its downtime, I would try to take those screenshots before Wednesday this week. I don't know exactly when the map will go offline, but it will be sometime within probably a day or two of the 10th, but I wouldn't wait, because as soon as it's offline, it will not be going back online for at least a week, a little bit longer, a week afterwards. I'm actually ending up being able to relocate the Raspberry Pi that is currently running the map so that it is with me in my living arrangements rather than in a house of family members. So it'll make the maintenance on the issues with the Anchorage station much easier to resolve once it is in my possession, but it's going to take about a week because I'm going to be on vacation for a week, and that's where I'm being able to acquire a Raspberry Pi from family members. So there will be some downtime. It should be back up with enough time before the next faction turn for people to still use it. I hope. I hope to be able to at least get it back up on the 18th or the 19th in the state it is in right now. So the Anchorage assets, Anchorage station assets may not be immediately patched, but do know that since I'll have the Raspberry Pi back, it'll be it shouldn't be too much longer before that should be available. So just wanted to make everyone aware of that so you could plan for potential downtime and take any screenshots you wanted beforehand, so that if you wanted at least some static views, you would have them available for planning purposes. As always, the spreadsheet will still be available because it's available through Google Drive, so no worries there. You'll at least be able to access the important information in the tabular form, even if the map does make some things nicer to observe. All right. I guess since that's a relevant thing for those of you interested, I will be on vacation for a week in September, so responses may be delayed, especially since it'll be the week prior to the lore stream. So if you're expecting things from me to prepare for the lore stream, you should get them within the next day or two, so that I'm not having to worry about it over vacation. Cool. I think that takes care of everything, though. I will double check anything on the spreadsheet. Actually, let's try refreshing the map and seeing if it loads. And we'll make announcements as relevant later in the stream. Or later in the Discord channel, excuse me, talking about any other updates that need to be announced. So thanks everyone for coming out for a faction turn 23 with Beacon Space, within Beacon Space, and hosted by Unrestricted Lorefare. I've been your host, Xavier, and I think I'm excited to see what happens next month with everyone's contributions. So, if as always, if you're new here or not sure what this was, you can join the Discord channel to participate in any of these factions and help contribute to the orders you just saw processed on stream today. So, thanks everyone. I've had a fantastic time bringing this to you. I'll leave you with some cool music for the next minute or two as we fade on out of here. Bye!